Hello, guys, and welcome to this year's IPL 2022 Sportzian Special Edition videos. This is the first set of videos that we'll be doing on course of IPL 2022. And what better way to start off by talking about the mega auction that is going to happen in a week's period. We at Sportzian are equally and really excited.
I mean, even though the IPL auction is a precursor to the actual tournament, I have always been a huge fan of the IPL auction as a separate event itself. It's especially this year, it's the mega auction, and it's quite sad that this is going to be the last mega auction. So that is what all the franchises and BCCI has decided. I mean, this is just to ensure that the teams that invest in the grassroots grassroots players are rewarded because one team helps in growing a player while after 3 years the mega auction just shuffles everything. But however, let's enjoy this year's mega auction, and we have 7 categories. So the categories are, the first category is the biggest Indian gainers. So basically this is a list of 5 Indian players who we expect are to go for big bucks in the auction. The second category is the highest overseas gainers. I mean, obviously, the first 2 categories are quite predictable, a lot of familiar names, but keep uh, keep watching till the end of the videos. We have really some interesting picks and interesting categories as well. So the third category is surprise overseas picks. So we have listed 5 players who many of us won't be familiar with, but we expect them to be picked in the IPL auction. And similarly, the fourth category is surprise Indian picks. Again, it's not like we don't expect these people to get picked. Probably these players, we might not have expected them to go for big bucks, but I'm pretty sure some of these players are going to go for big bucks. The fifth category is the opposite. The top 5 surprising Indian misses. The sixth category is similarly surprise overseas misses, big overseas names. I'm pretty sure some of them are going to miss out. And the seventh category is the dark horse, the under 19 players or top under 19 players to watch out for.
A disclaimer: this is nothing personal. We just analyze some of the previous data and just going with our gut. So we'll start out with the highest gainers from India.
The first name, I mean, probably I'm sure a lot of viewers would know this, Shreyas Iyer. He is surely going to go for a lot of money. It's not only because a lot of teams are looking for a captain, that is stating the obvious. Shreyas Iyer has led Delhi Capitals in the past, and talking about his batting skills, he can bat at 3, 4, 5. He can be a anchor. He can be a finisher. He's extremely versatile.
And going with some of the reports, I mean, teams are willing to put aside 20 crores for this man. I think he's going to break all the IPL records. So my second pick would be, I don't know if how many of the pundits or the general audience would be guessing, but I would go back Shah Khan. The Tamil Nadu explosive batsman. He has not got that many chances to prove in the IPL, but what he's done in Vijay Hazare trophy, like where he sealed the trophy for Tamil Nadu, and he whenever given a chance with Punjab Kings, he had been instrumental. I thought that Punjab would retain him, but letting him go for an auction, okay, it's a gamble, and I think many of the teams are looking for a finisher role.
Yeah, the thing I like about Shah Khan is the fact that he's an extremely calm person. He plays brilliantly under pressure. I mean, I think that's where he thrives, and that is what the greatest finishers are made of.
I'd have him Indian Pollard. I feel like he's like the Indian team's Pollard. He looks same. I mean, I think they both use the same bat as well.
The third player in this list is Shardul Thakur, but no matter which team he plays, he's going to be a big asset. He comes in when the team needs a wicket, and almost every single time, he delivers it. Whether it's Test match, whether it's T20, any format, he takes a wicket when his team needs most, and he's been brilliant at the bat. I still remember vividly the 2019 IPL finals when 2 runs were needed off one ball, and Thakur was playing. Lasith Malinga bowled a brilliant slow Yorker, and he got out. And I was gutted. And the next day, Shardul Thakur said that that really hurt me, and I'm going to improve my batting a lot, and that's what he's done.
Well, Thakur has always been the underdog. You don't expect when he strikes, but he has taken that responsibility. I mean, he's famously dubbed the Lord by the internet community. And he really stands up to this name. Moving on to the next slot, the fourth slot. So Harshal Patel. I mean, till the last IPL, nobody knew who Harshal was, but he's been a phenomenon. I mean, he's been a real find by the RCB. It was a surprise when they did not retain back Harshal.
I mean, two things about Harshal Patel. The first one is no one can ever tell that he's a one season wonder. It's not like he's come and he's performed, and someone like, I can think of Paul Valtati. He was a one season wonder. He played few matches that particular season, and then he went. Harshal Patel is not like that. He has been in the IPL circuit for at least 6-7 years. And the second one is he's probably one of the best Indian death bowlers. I mean, after Bhuvneshwar Kumar has lost his touch, Midas touch now. So there aren't many Indian death bowlers who are so good at handling pressure. Of course, there is Jasprit Bumrah, but you can cherry pick a few people, and I think Harshal Patel is going to be one of India's best death bowlers. The final player in this list is Deepak Chahar. Again, he's another player who can do almost everything. Bowling wise, he's brilliant with the new ball. He can bat deep. He can really contribute to the bat. Again, we saw the same. We have seen it in IPL. I think he's turning out to be the whole package, and that's what teams need to have a good core.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a revelation, especially in the South Africa series. I mean, even though he got to play the last match, but still he proved that. I mean, you can't underestimate him at any time. Now, moving on to the second category, is the same highest gainers, but in the overseas category. So, but we've been really rational this time. We've not thrown some random names here, but because almost all the good players are up for grabs, we thought that this can be a very predictable thing. So the first player that we have on our list is Quentin Decock, the ex-MI wicket keeper and opening batsman. I mean, it was a tough call for MI, to retain people or to let go. I mean, they built a really strong core, and leaving QDK out of the retained portion must be hard, must be a tough decision. But you know how explosive we can be as an opening batsman, and there are many teams who lack opening batsmen.
And he has age to his side. He's just 29, and he is probably the best wicketkeeper in the world right now. I think I can safely say that. The second player is Quentin Decock, South African fast bowling teammate, Kagiso Rabada. I actually predicted that Delhi would retain him because him and Norkia make a brilliant pair, but they haven't. And I think any team, KG Rabada is going to be a big asset. I think all the teams are moving towards the trend where even though you are a bowler, you are expected to bat a little. I think, and if you are looking at that, I think Rabada is going to fit the bill over there.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a shock that Delhi didn't retain him. That has come as a real shock, and it was really a shock that both of the new teams also didn't pick him up. They've gone for some really different strategies, but not picking up Rabada when he is available, well, that was a mistake. The third player in our list, which I personally believe he's going to cause a really good bidding war among teams, is David Warner, the former SRH batsman, captain, opening batsman as well. Now, SRH not retaining him was not a surprise, given that that both the parties have gone in the last IPL season. Now, many teams are looking for captains. Many teams are looking for opening batsmen who better than one can fill up that role.
Yes, and I think David Warner is the player with the most IPL experience in this list, at least till what we have covered. He has been playing since the 2009 IPL. I remember he played in the 2009 edition for Delhi Daredevils. That was his breakthrough season. The fourth player in this list is Jason Holder. He's the only player in the overseas category that we are going to talk about. He's not in the marquee list. So probably when Holder's name comes up, a lot of teams might have lost a lot on their purse, but whatever they have, they will definitely try to spend it on Holder. It's because he brings a lot of traits that not many people bring, and he's not your typical West Indian slogging all-rounder. I mean, there are so many West Indians, they have a lot of power, but the technique that Jason Holder has, it's completely different.
Yeah, and he's also a very great cricketing brain. I mean, he reads the situation, and I think he can be a really good captain choice as well if a team can think through it, and it will be a good buy. So the final one in our list for the highest gainers in overseas is the Australian fast bowler, the Aussie skipper, Pat Cummins. Pat Cummins is one of the best bowlers right now in world cricket. Whether it is Test, One Day, or T20. I mean, you can't expect teams to go small on Pat Cummins. I mean, he was picked up around 15 crores by KK, around 15 crores by KK, and I don't think it will go down anytime soon.
The only issue I might have with Cummins is his injury because of the pace he bowls. But he has been in the Australian red ball team for a lot of time, and that would have definitely improved his fitness.
Well, yeah, but this game has become cruel towards bowlers even more. Even though you bowl, the teams are expecting that you need to bat a bit, whereas it's not the true for the batsman.
So moving on to the third category, this is where it gets interesting. This is where a lot of uncertainties are there. Category is the surprise overseas picks. These are names you might not have heard, or even if you might have heard, you may think, okay, I don't think this player is going to get sold, but we think these players are going to get sold. So let's look at this list. The first player in our list is Romario Shepard. I talked about Jason Holder saying he's not your typical West Indian who slogs, but Romario Shepard, I think, is the typical West Indian all-rounder. He hits the ball a long, long way, and he's a very handy bowler. He might not give you your solid 4 overs, but 2 overs or 3 overs here and there. He's still young; he can improve on his bowling, but it's his hitting that the teams are going to look out for.
Well, it should be interesting picking Romario, but I think it should be the team should also be looking at their pitch conditions where they are playing. I think they should be having a fair bit of idea before making these choices. But we think that he will get picked. Okay, so moving on. So the second person in our list is we hope you might have heard him at least in the T20 World Cup. It's Charit Aslanka. I mean, when you think that Sri Lankan cricket has given up, there are like the batsmen have dried up in the Sri Lankan squad. You get this term, Charit Aslanka. He's been really good, really phenomenal in the T20 World Cup. I mean, he hits a long ball, he plays the innings, he plays the anchor role, he can accelerate the innings whenever he wants. He's been a revelation for this season, and I think he can be a surprise pick.
Moving on to the third player, he's one of my favorite young players currently. It's the Australian leg spinner Tanveer Sangha. I've been following the Big Bash for quite some time, and this guy, I've seen him grow actually. Initially, he used to, give a lot of runs, a lot of freebies just because he's a leg spinner. It's very difficult to control the ball, but off late, he has been super. And I really, really hope that he can come in the. He can probably be the next Adam Zampa.
Well, we hope he gets picked there, and I guess the most interesting pick that we have in this list is Tymon Mills. I mean, he has been out of cricket. He has been out of international cricket for a while until he showed up in the T20 World Cup in UAE, and he really surprised us. Even though he's a really injured prone cricketer, you can't rely much upon his fitness. But still, I think he can, if he is fit, if he is ready to go, I think he can be a real revelation in this IPL season.
Hemant, I've got some news for you. You can mark my words. I think Timil Mills is going to Mumbai Indians. It's because he made a comeback in the tournament 100, and the team which he played for, it was actually coached by Mahela Jayawardene. So I have a hunch that Mumbai Indians are going for Timil Mills. Let's move on to the fifth and final player in this list. He's actually Tanveer Sangha's teammate in the Big Bash, that is Alex Hales. Again, like I said, I follow the Sydney Thunder. So I know a lot about Alex Hales. I know about Tanveer Sangha, and Alex Hales is definitely going to watch carefully to see if he's going to get a bit or not. He's an explosive opener, just like a lot of other English openers, Johnny Bairstow, Jason Roy, James Vince. They might also get good bits. The only issue I see with Alex Hales is probably he's a bit weak against spin, and when it comes to the subcontinent, if you can't play spin, you can't play the IPL.
Well, I've been seeing every auction, even the smaller auctions, in the past 3 years or 4 years, to see somebody pick up Alex Hales. But every time his name calls up, he just goes unsold every time, even though at base prices. But I think if any of the team managers or any of the talent scouts are watching this video by chance, please pick Alex Hales. I guess he can be a missile in your team. I mean, it's a 100 or not with him. So yeah, but that is how the game is played. So
Moving on to the Indian counterparts, the surprise Indian picks. The first name that I can come up with is Rishi Dhawan. I'm sure a lot of you might have heard about Rishi Dhawan. He played for Mumbai Indians, he played for Kings 11 Punjab, but that was quite a while back, at least 5 to 6 years back. He hasn't played IPL since then, but he's been rocking in the domestic circuit. He captained Himachal Pradesh to their first ever Vijay Hazare victory. And it's not only his captaincy, he can bat at any position from 3 to 7. He's an extremely good bowler. He can bowl with the new ball as well. He can bowl at the depth as well.
he's really good with his slower balls. He can slow the ball substantially. I think that's maybe almost all the bowlers are doing, but Rishi Dhawan has a knack of deceiving it with the batsman. So the second name in this list, I mean, we wouldn't call it surprise, but it's a matter of like how much will he be growing about it. K.S. Bharat, the Andhra wicketkeeper batsman. I mean, till last season, nobody knew about him. At least not until that last ball six against Avesh Khan against the Delhi Capitals. I mean, a batsman whom you can trust. He can build the innings, and he's not slow. When we say like he's not an explosive batsman, doesn't mean that he's slow. He can get you runs, but maybe not explosively as you might like it. But he's the conventional batsman who can give you that anchor role in the team. So, yeah.
Moving on to the third player in this list, he's a left-arm pacer, Arzan Nagaswala. So he actually played in the India A versus South Africa A tour, where Marco Jansen actually made his name. A lot of young Indian and South African cricketers actually played in that tournament. Arzan Nagaswala is definitely going to be bought by some team because Indian left-arm seamers are not that much in supply. The fourth player is R. Sai Kishore of Tamil Nadu. He's a left-arm spinner. He's been doing fantastically in the domestic circuits, both Vijay Hazare and Syed Mushtaq Ali as Syed Mushtaq Ali tournament as well. His economy barely goes over 6. That is stupendous for T20s. He has been with CSK for 4 years. You can't undervalue that experience. Even though he hasn't played a single match for CSK, that experience with such a franchise with a winning mentality and the time he has spent with Dhoni and Fleming, it's definitely going to help a lot in his career. And the fifth player we have in this list is Ritvik Roy Chaudhary. He's an all-rounder from Bengal. He can bowl all the 4 overs, but the X factor that he brings is his huge big hitting ability. He is not proven. By not proven, I mean he hasn't scored a lot of runs, but he is definitely capable of hitting. And if some team really trusts him and invests in him, I think he's going to give big returns.
Okay, now moving on to our next category. So this is surprise misses, like players who might not get picked by any of the team in this IPL. And we'll start off with the overseas category first. Now, mind you, these are all really great players for their respective international teams, but many great players did not find their place in IPL previously, and we think that this might be the same with these players. The first player in this list is Jofra Archer. Now, don't get us wrong here. Jofra Archer, any day, any team would be ready to spend any amount of money to have him in his team. And he has been enrolled in this IPL in the last minute, but there was a catch. He will not be taking part in this season. He will be only available for 2023 and onwards. So I believe that teams would want to buy him next season, maybe when another set of auctions start, rather than just spending out money and just not making any game time out of Archer.
Just one thing I want to add about Jofra Archer. Reports say that he didn't enroll initially in the IPL auction. It was only after the shortlist was made and the franchises decided that they wanted Archer. The BCCA personally contacted him and then he enrolled in the auction. But then he clearly stated that he's not available for 2022. So it's a double-edged sword. Any franchise that's willing to take the risk can buy him now. If it goes to next year's auction, his valuation is going to skyrocket. The second player we have in our list is Marnus Labuschagne. Forgive me if the pronunciation is bad. Now, Marnus, he's a fantastic cricketer, but the thing is he tested enough? Is he tested enough in the T20 format? One question. Is he tested enough in the subcontinent? Second question. And if you personally ask me, the answer is no to both. And I think maybe he might get picked, but I don't think he's going to get valuation anywhere after his base price. I think he's going to be a very cheap snap and keep him as a backup.
Well, I mean, if IPL had ODI editions or IPL had Test editions, I think Marnus would be the first guy who would teams go after. But as you said, he's been pretty much untested in this waters, both in the format and both in the pitch conditions. So we have to wait and see what happens when Marnus be called up at the auction. So now moving to the man, the name that everybody remembers, Carlos Brathwaite. I mean, everybody remembers his 4 sixes in that final over against Ben Stokes against that English team. But that has been really the high point of Carlos Brathwaite's career. I mean, he has been talked as the next big thing in the West Indies cricket, in international cricket, but he was really not. He did not reach that high anytime after that period, after that 2016 final. So I think it's sad to say, but I think he might go unpicked this time.
I think it's mainly because of his injuries, probably him trying to go too hard on the ball. He is an all-rounder, so he has to bowl also medium pace. It's taken a toll on him. And I mean, we can see that the IPL franchises do not trust him. It feels very bad to say, but that has been the truth. He has not played a lot of cricket in the IPL, so I don't think he would get sold. The fourth player we have in this list has been trusted by a lot of franchises. I think 7 franchises, to be honest. The old warhorse from Australia, Aaron Finch. I like Finch. He's a good opener, but sadly to say, he's past his prime. And he has been playing for Australia in the T20. He even played in the T20 World Cup, and he played some of the Big Bash games. But I think that is mainly as a captain. And we all know how dangerous it is, right, to play a player, especially an overseas player, as a captain. We saw with Owen Morgan last year. The form was bad, but they had to play because he was the captain. So it's a huge gamble to take Aaron Finch, and I don't think any franchise would take that risk.
Well, Aaron Finch, again, it's the same case of franchisee not trusting a player enough. I mean, maybe if he had got to spend time with a franchisee for 2-3 years, maybe he would have gotten that groove, and maybe we didn't have speaking that. But as you said, he has been shuffling franchises every year. Every year he's got to find a new team, edges, and by the time he performs, the season is over. So but we believe that Aaron Finch might not get picked. And the last and final name in this list, it can be quite controversial when we say it, but we think that Steve Smith might not get picked up. Well, as I said, it's the same case with Marnus. It's the same case with Smith. But the thing is, like, Smith was proven, but he's not. I mean, he's not a T20 player. You cannot bank Smith to accelerate an innings, or he's a one-day player. He's a test player. Obviously, he's not the Smith that led Pune Super Giants to the final. He's not that Smith anymore. So it will be interesting to see if any team picks, but we doubt that he can.
The last but one category, the Indian counterparts for the surprise misses, Indian players who we think might not get selected. And the first one is Kamalash Nagar. Uh, he was given a lot of hype in the 2018 mega auction where KKR bought him for a reasonably good fee. It was clear that they wanted to invest in the under 19 players. Nagar was a gave a stellar performance in that under 19 edition, but ever since for the next 4 years he has not played a lot of games. He has been riddled with injuries. It's very sad for such a young player to spend so much time with injuries, and even the matches he has played, it hasn't looked promising. He has gone for a lot of runs, and that's why I think Nagarkoti might miss the bus. Still, I still think some team would go for him as a backup, but I don't think anyone would be like, okay, I really want to get him.
Well, yeah, I mean, he has been a revelation in that under 19 World Cup. There were high hopes. I mean, entire under 19 base contingent was like on fire. So the second player in this list is Mandeep Singh. Uh, well, Mandeep Singh has been. You cannot say that he was bad, but still he did not, live up to his potential. What he could have done. Maybe it's the team setup. Maybe he was not asked to bat at a particular position at any time. It was continuous shuffling. It will definitely play on the player's mind. But if a team really wants to stick with him, he can be, but really doubt anybody would want to take that risk at this point.
Agreed, 100%. I mean, the reason Mandeep Singh hasn't prospered in the IPL is because he has not been given a fixed role. He should either open or he should be a finisher. I've seen him both open, I've seen him being a finisher, and I have basically seen him in a franchise that does not trust him. The third player in this list is Safras Khan, and I think again it's the same issue with Mandeep Singh. He has not been given a fixed role. You should, when players are young, you should groom them for what their primary role is, and once they get good at it, you can tell them to move on to a secondary role. But a lot of players like Mandeep Singh and Sarfraz Khan, uh, their roles haven't been specified by their franchises, and it's because we can clearly see how successful they have been in their domestic seasons. Sarfraz Khan with Mumbai, Mandeep Singh with Punjab.
Yeah, with a similar story, great under 19 career, great domestic career, and not that great track record in the IPL. But it really depends on the team's management, the team's environment, and what position you are being asked to play. If you look at the successful teams in this IPL, if you take either CSK or MI, every player has a defined role. This team the team management tries to stick with the player even though they're going to a patch times. I think it's all with the team's mentality. And moving on to the fourth player in this list, it's Manan Vora. I mean, when he burst onto the scene, he was a really good, exciting opening batsman. You know, he even drew similarities to Shavak, that he has that audacity to hit balls, to boundaries without respecting the bowlers. But I guess it's the similar case with all the players in this list. The team's not trusting him. I mean, every player goes through a rough patch, but you need to like nurture him and make him feel comfortable of the setup. Nothing has worked out. He has been not playing in his comfortable position. So yes, it will be difficult for Manan Vora this season.
Yes, and if I'm not mistaken, I think probably the highlight of his career was when Kings 11 Punjab retained him before the big auction. He was the only player to be retained by Punjab, and they went on to build the team around him. Surprisingly, it's not worked out for Manan Bora, and it's not worked out for the fifth player in this list, which is Karun Nair. I still remember he scored the triple hundred against England, and he thought, okay, Karun Nair is the next big thing. That's what we think about a lot of players, but that gave us a lot of hope because triple century is not something which every player scores. But it's not worked for him in T20s. It doesn't mean that he's not been a good cricketer. It's just that T20 hasn't been his forte. Very similar to Cheteshwar Pujara. I mean, you just have to raise your hands and say, okay, this is not my cup of tea, and for that reason, I think Karun Nair is not going to get so.
Well, so these are similar, similar characteristics. The list, the entire players in this list have follow a similar pattern. So if any team would want to pick them, we really hope that they nurture them so that they can live up to their potential. The final list. So the final list in this video is the under-19 dark horses. It has been a really good World Cup for the young players. We've got to see some really good talent in display in the West Indies. So the first list, and I personally am really excited to can't wait to see him in international circuit, and I really hope RCB picks him up. Maybe AB pushes them, but it's the junior AB as they call him. It's Deval British. He holds the same number as AB, the number 17, and he really idealizes him. And not even idealizes him. Anybody has seen his batting, it's like a dream. He really bats like AB. Yeah, it will be. I think he can go for some good money this season.
I think I commented on a post in Facebook saying Deval Bruce wants to join into RCB, and I commented, why doesn't he want to win trophies? And I got a lot of lot of flack for that. And similarly, let's look at the other under-19 players from India. Yash Dug, the skipper, he can bat at 3, 4, 5. He can bat at any position. He has a brilliant strike rate. And remember, batting in the West Indies is not that easy. West Indies pitches aren't exactly batsman friendly. He has scored a lot of runs. He scored a century in the semifinals against Australia.
Another you can't name him yet. I mean, they've been calling him a raw talent till now. I mean, he hits a ball really long. I mean, he hits it hard, but uh, there is no technique. It's just that you come and strong. He's an all-rounder. I mean, cannot say that he's a and he's not even a batting all-rounder. He's a bowling all-rounder. So bowling is his prime of forte, and then comes the batting. If any team would want to go, I think it should be RCB, because playing games in Chinnaswamy, if he hits the ball, I think it's flying out of the stadium.
Definitely, these players will get picked. There is no second question about that, because it's clear that this is going to be the final mega auction. You don't get to buy under 19 players again. It's from here on, it's going to be groom. So this is the final bunch of the players you can buy in the auction, and you just lay your hands on whatever you can and invest your time and effort into that, and we'll see how these players are going to blossom.
And also as a disclaimer, these players are really good in the under 19 scenarios. Doesn't mean that they'll come good against some quality international bowlers in some very hostile crowd environment. But it really depends on the teams to take them up, groom them. Maybe they should play the long game with these guys. They cannot expect picking them and it's like you should shine in the first season that we are playing. So it's always the long game. So I think it has been an extensive list that we've prepared. I guess we are proud of the list that we have made. We would be really keen to watch how much of the prediction that we given will come true in the talks in a week's time. And hope you enjoyed the video. You can also comment in in the comment section mention if we missed out anything, and if you think that any other player has a chance in any of the categories. Thank you guys, and please like, share, and subscribe to Sports.